Hello there and welcome to Stick Around. Clive here, and I'm here to do a music review for you of Kids See Ghosts with their self-titled debut album. Well, it's called Kids See Ghosts. That's how self-titled works. Kids See Ghosts are a hip-hop duo of Kanye West, might have heard of him, and Kid Cudi, who became friends in 2008, I believe. A couple of fallouts since then, but generally have been really close friends, and as I'll explain, that becomes kind of evident on this album. It's the third album in a summer of Kanye releases, really, over releasing 5 albums over a 5-week period, the first of which was Pusha T's Daytona, the next of which was Kanye West himself's Ye, and this one being the third one. It's a psychedelic, sort of grungy hip-hop album. All the tracks on it are the well-produced, and yet I still feel like it has a kind of raw sound, almost like they kind of came up with the structure and stuff for the songs quite quickly, but then padded things out a lot in the studio, so that the kind of structures and things feel kind of raw and unrefined, but in a good way. Whereas the production does feel like a lot of thought has been, in terms of instrumentally, feels like there's been a lot of thought put into it. Right, I'm going to talk about a few of the songs that stand out, which is really hard because all these songs are highlights. The vast majority of them, I really, really like them, and it's kind of hard to pick them out. So I'll probably mention them all at some point. But let's start, naturally, at the start. The first track, Feel the Love. Great start to the album. Has this super simple chorus, feel the love. It has this boundless energy to it with Kanye's sort of really powerful sort of braps going on in the background, which are then echoed later on by the actual instrumentation, which I really, really loved. It's a song of tons of different segments, even though it's quite a short song, and it's just constantly leaving you guessing. You're not quite sure what's going to happen, and it finishes just, when it's almost at its peak, and I think that's so brilliant. It finishes sort of in a blaze of glory, and I love that in a song. There's no fade out. It's just bam, it's there, and then it finishes, and I love that about this song, and I think it kind of sets the tone for the album. Great track. Then next I'm going to talk about Fourth Dimension, which is track 3, another absolute highlight. Starts with this great sort of Louis Prima sample, and then fits in almost effortlessly. The beat comes in, and it's very reminiscent of a driving beats like on College Dropout era Kanye, and the rapping over the top is also very reminiscent of that. Loads of rhythm to it, loads of flow. It's pretty darn funny at points, particularly Kanye's verse. But Kid Cudi himself probably has the highlight verse on the track, digging, a real personal verse about his struggles with mental health. And some really good rapping, a particularly catchy part going on about, get your dreams on, get your dreams on, and that kind of gets stuck in your head. The sample kind of re-emerges again as the song closes out and throughout, and it works really, really well. It's just, seamless, the way that they've melded it into the song, and I think this is... it's one of my favourite tracks on an album of tracks that I absolutely love. So, yeah, a real highlight again. Next up, we've got Free. It's got a lot of E's on the end, which has a real grungy feel to it. When the kind of beat and the guitar riff come in, it has such a massive power to it, and the rapping over the top is fabulous too. It's essentially a song about freedom in many, many different ways, and sort of it has these vocal parts where like, I feel free, and it kind of I don't know, there's that in the way they say it in such a sort of slightly manic way. You feel it, you feel free from anything. It feels like, I don't know how to describe it, but like everything's kind of just disappeared and you feel free. It's a wonderful, wonderful kind of wacky, but very effective way to bring that feeling across in the song, and I really love that. The song just has so much power, when lines like, you can quit your job to this are delivered, you just want to kind of throw your resignation letter at your boss and leave. It's quite fabulous. And also worth mentioning is Ty Dolla $ign's feature on this particular track. Really, really good. Big fan of it. It's just a completely wacky, completely brilliant song that has so much energy to it. That's just a real, probably the highlight in an album full of highlights. Things take a little bit of a breather with the final 3 songs, and I think I feel like Kid Cudi's more sort of melancholy voice proves a real sort of a good counterpiece to Kanye's more personal lyrics in these songs, particularly in the song Reborn, which features possibly Kanye's most personal verse. I'll just read it out now for you. I was off the chain, I was often drained, I was off the meds, I was called insane. What an awesome thing, engulfed in shame. I want all the rain, I want all the pain, I want all the smoke, I want all the blame. I just think that's a really powerful verse about I suppose what's going on in Kanye's head are really sort of personal. I think it's a really open verse with, not really steeped in metaphor. It's just cutting right to the core of his feelings, and I like that. The album finishes beautifully with another highlight. Every song's a highlight. It's not possible, Clive. Well, it is. Listen to it. This final song, Cuddy Montage, is this kind of great little clanky guitar riff in the acoustic guitar sounding riff in the, driving the thing forward. And it has this brilliant climax. Shine your light on me, save me, please. Which is just, a really, really powerful way to finish the album. It makes you, whilst being quite melancholy, is also quite life-affirming. It's a really, really brilliant finish to what is a fantastic album. I'll go over my overall thoughts in a minute. It's tea of judgment time. You know what? I'm going to give this thing a 9. This thing is amazing. It's my favourite album of the year. It feels like two good friends pushing each other, or, at least inspiring each other to make some really, really great music. It doesn't feel like them trying to outdo each other. It feels like, they're really working together as a unit, and that close friendship to me is evident throughout the album. It's full of energy. It's bursting with life and colour. It's just a special, special album to me. And at 23 minutes long, I believe that's how long it is. It's only 7 tracks. It's it does more things than most albums twice or 3 times its length. It's not only super enjoyable, it's super interesting throughout as well. It's just doing loads of cool different things, and you never know what's coming next, and it's just fun with a capital F-U-N. Brilliant stuff. Love this album. Thanks for listening to this review. If you want to look at more of Stick Around's content, we've got podcasts. That's primarily what we do about games, films, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. Check down there in the notes. I'll put a link up to the website, stickaroundpodcast.com, if you can't be bothered to press on a link and you'd rather type. And you can find all sorts of articles there as well as a picture of us all. Lovely. And links to all our past episodes. If you search for Stick Around in your podcast app, you will find us. That's it, really. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I should stop wearing daft caps at funny angles? Put it in the comments below. But remember, be kind to each other.